NetsBoy, so let's hear what he has to say. His name is NetsBoy, he thinks the world is all over when the Nets just can't play. What up, Net fans? NetsBoy here, bringing you the latest in your Brooklyn Nets news. So I'm a little bit behind from when this actually happened, but you know, whatever. The Nets bought out Joe Johnson, and this is something that a lot of people were expecting, including myself, and it really didn't come to a surprise to anyone. It was just time. You know, as a Nets fan, I really appreciate what Joe Johnson meant to the organization, being, you know, one of the go-to scorers down the stretch of games, several years ago. All the clutch shots he made, basically helping this Nets team become relevant when they came to Brooklyn. You know, so in that way, I'm a little upset that he's gone. But really, at an objective standpoint, it's the right move for both parties. He signed with the Miami Heat, which to me was a good signing. I thought he would go to the Cavs, which I think a lot of people did. But I think he seems to be fitting in well with the Heat. He's had two really solid games with them, including a 24-point game the other night against the Bulls. So he's in a good situation, and the Nets are in a good situation because now this allows for their younger guys to get opportunities to play. Markel Brown and Bojan Bogdanovic, to be exact. The first two games, the Nets won. They beat the Suns, which doesn't really mean anything because the Suns are probably now, in my opinion, the worst team in the NBA, just the way they are. And then they beat the Jazz, though, and the Jazz are a pretty good team. But then they followed that up with losing to both the LA teams. Now, the Clippers, you can understand, but losing to the Lakers is terrible. And now I think they got swept by the Lakers, which is whatever. You know, you can't lose to the 76ers, Suns, or Lakers. Well, they lost to the Lakers twice. They lost to the 76ers last time they played them, so, you know, whatever. But that's beside the point. But anyway, looking at now Bojan Bogdanovic and Markel Brown, you're seeing that these guys have some, I don't want to say potential to be great, but potential to be solid NBA rotational players. Markel Brown, I think, is averaging about 11 points a game since Joe Johnson has left, and Bojan Bogdanovic is averaging over 17 points a game. So these guys are getting their opportunities to prove themselves, and I think we are really seeing that both those guys are okay, pretty decent players, but I don't think any of them are going to be these, you know, star caliber players that, well, I don't know if anyone really thought that either of them would be star caliber players, but you know, they're not going to be saviors. Let's put it that way. But at least they're both now getting their opportunity to grow and develop their games more, especially Markel Brown. Bojan Bogdanovic, I kind of feel like what you see is what you get with him. Like, he's a streaky scorer, a very good shooter. He can post up occasionally. He can use his size, but he has mediocre ball handling skills, and you know. But I don't think he's gonna develop his skill set anymore. You know, I mean, he's 27 years. He's gonna be 27 years old. He's not a young guy anymore. He's just more or less getting his confidence. You know, his development is just adapting to the NBA style of the game. But when it comes to skill set, he is what he is. Markel Brown, on the other hand, I feel like has some potential to develop his skill set a little bit more. His outside shot has gotten much more improved than what it was last year. His ball handling is better than I remember it being. You know, his playmaking appears to be a little bit better. So I think he is someone who could raise up a little bit higher. So I think he really benefits the most from having Joe Johnson, you know, not on the team anymore. But Bogdanovic has been the one who stepped his game up so far in the 4 games, but it's only been 4 games. So who knows? But either way, it's allowing the Nets now to play their young guys and play some players, and that's what Sean Marks ultimately wanted. That being said, I am a little confused the way Chris McCullough has not been playing that much the last few games. I know, you know, after not playing a year, he kind of has to get his feet under him again playing basketball, and he's never really played in the NBA. You know, it's not like he had, you know, played in the D League or played in the Summer League to figure out how the NBA game works. You know, he's just straight out. It's like graduated, you know, he didn't graduate college, got drafted out of college, didn't play for a year, and then boom, NBA. So I can understand why Tony Brown is a little hesitant, but, you know, he played him his first, you know, 4 or 5 games that he was, you know, back, and now he's not playing as much. But I'm not going to question that. I think it's more of a get them used to the NBA style again before we start trying to throw them back into the fire. Um, in other Nets news, the Nets did fill Joe Johnson's spot and technically Andrea Bargnani's. Well, they didn't sign. They didn't fill Bargnani's spot, but they filled Joe Johnson's spot. They brought in Sean Kilpatrick to a 10-day contract, 6'4" shooting guard, nothing special. He ain't gonna be the savior of this team, but he is a talented guard and someone who the Nets could look at to see if maybe he could make the team next year. He's like I said, he's a D League player. He fits in that Donald Sloan category of solid third string players. So, but at least he's getting an opportunity to prove himself, and maybe who knows, maybe he looks good, and the Nets decide to bring him on all year for the rest of the year. So that's the way this Nets team is. It's all about seeing what they can do. Brook Lopez has been just as good as he's always been. Thaddeus Young's been good. Wayne Ellington has been still hit or miss, but he's been doing better of late. Sergei Karasev, I think, look, he's getting opportunities too. He's getting some playing time, and he hasn't really been taking advantage of either. He's another one who people thought might be able to take advantage of these now. Joe Johnson less minutes. But I think Karasev, I don't know. It's tough. I don't know what's going on with Karasev. Last year, he had a stretch about 10 games where he was like a decent player, and Lionel Hollins would turn to him for some quality minutes, and he gave him like 10 points a game. But now he's just kind of useless. He's kind of useless. And, Thomas Robinson, I don't ever say Thomas Robinson is useless because of his rebounding ability, but he's kind of becoming a little useless in his skill set and his development. He's not taking it to the next level. But we'll see. Still about 20-something games left of the regular season, so we'll see what the Nets do. We'll see how these guys play. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, hopefully he'll be back in the next couple of weeks, maybe. Hopefully he gets back before the end of the season. I don't really know. If he comes back and he can play the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, I think it'll be really nice for that with the Nets, because then you could really see the quote-unquote young core of this team. You could have, Markel Brown, Bojan Bogdanovic, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, Kilpatrick, and Bojan Bogdanovic. I said Bojan Bogdanovic. Chris McCullough, that's a guy. They can have all those guys actually playing all at once and see how they play together and see, hey, maybe some of these good young players could be something in the future. So that being said, we'll see what happens moving forward with the Nets. They've got Denver coming up, a team that they beat courtesy of Joe Johnson last time. Then they got Minnesota, possible winnable game. Toronto, Philly. I mean, the Nets can win some games. They need to win some games, and I think they can win some games. So there you have it. That's what's the latest is with the Nets. In an unrelated topic, I think the Nets should get Ty Lawson. I'm just throwing that out there before the end of this video. Ty Lawson got waived yesterday by the Rockets, and personally, I know the Sean Marks' goal is to see what this young team is capable of. I would bring in Ty Lawson. I think that it would be a great, almost like, tryout to see if Ty Lawson, maybe he's the guy you bring in for next year. But let's sign him for the rest of this year. See if him and Brook Lopez and Thaddeus Young can play well together, which I think they would be able to, because Ty Lawson is a very good pick and roll player, and Brook Lopez and Thaddeus Young both are pretty good in the pick and roll. Look, I don't know if Ty Lawson will actually agree to anything like that, because he obviously wants to probably play for a contending team. But if I'm Sean Marks, I would think about trying to get Ty Lawson now once he clears through waivers, or claim him off waivers. Who knows? Maybe you claim him off waivers. Maybe you don't. Who knows? But that's a completely side thing, and I'm just throwing that out there. Something I would like to see happen. I don't think it really will happen, because that's not what the Nets are looking to do at this point. But I would like to see that. But whatever. So we'll see what more this team is capable of. We'll see if Bogdanovich continues to play as well as he has been playing. We'll see if the Nets can win some games. We'll see if McCullough plays and all this fun stuff. So keep your eyes open for the latest NetsBoy. And until then, this is NetsBoy saying, so long, Joe, and good luck, and signing off.